Today we're going to unpack one of the shortest books in the entire Bible. I mean, this is a letter so brief it could have fit on a single piece of papyrus. But, don't let its size fool you. Packed into these few lines is an intense little drama about truth, love, and a dangerous new idea that was threatening to tear a small community apart.
And this really raises a huge question for us, right? This ancient letter is dealing with a problem that feels incredibly modern. How does a community that's built on love and acceptance deal with ideas that it thinks are dangerous and, well, destructive? The answer it gives is, let's just say it's both surprising and pretty challenging.
So to even begin to understand the message, we've got to solve the mystery that's sitting right there in the opening line. Who is actually writing this thing, and who are they writing to?
Okay, so right off the bat, the writer doesn't even use his name. He just calls himself the elder. Now, this immediately tells us he's a known, respected authority figure in this network of early Christian communities. He doesn't need to say his name, his title is enough, and he's writing to someone he calls the elect lady and her children.
And this brings us to a really fascinating question that people have been debating for centuries. Is the elder writing to a real, flesh and blood woman, or is this some kind of code, a metaphor for something else entirely?
Well, there are two main possibilities here. On one hand, the elect lady could literally be a specific, prominent woman who was hosting a church right in her own home. But on the other hand, it could be this beautiful metaphor for a local church community, and her children would be its members. Honestly, either way, the message is for a tight-knit group that the elder cares about a lot.
So, before he gets to his urgent warning, the elder first reminds this community of their foundation. He grounds everything in the two concepts that hold them all together, truth and love.
I mean, just look at his opening greeting. It is packed with meaning. You've got grace, mercy, peace, truth, and love. For the elder, these are not just, nice spiritual words. They're the very atmosphere this community is supposed to breathe. And it all flows from God the Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ.
And then he gets to the core instruction, the central commandment. And he's really careful to point out, hey, this isn't some new rule I just made up. He says this is the message they've had from the beginning, that they love one another. It's supposed to be their defining characteristic. Okay, but what does this love actually look like in practice, right? It's so easy to talk about love as this big, abstract idea, but the elder is super specific. For him, it is not just a feeling. And here's the connection he makes. For the author, love is an action. It's a way of life. To love God is to literally walk according to his commands. And what's the primary command? To love each other. So it creates this kind of perfect circle. Obedience is an act of love, and love is shown through obedience.
But right after building up this foundation of love and truth, the elder just pivots. He reveals the real reason for this urgent letter. There's a clear and present danger.
Here's the problem. Many deceivers have gone out into the world. And get this, these aren't outsiders attacking the faith. These are people who were likely once part of the community, but are now spreading a message that the elder sees as profoundly false. He gives them a really specific test to identify these deceivers. He says they're people who deny that Jesus Christ came in the flesh. Now, this was likely aimed at an early version of Gnosticism, which was a worldview that saw the physical world as kind of evil or maybe just an illusion. And if you think that way, a divine being would never take on a real, messy, physical human body. The elder gives this idea a stark label. Anyone teaching it is a deceiver and an antichrist.
And we have to understand, this isn't just some minor theological disagreement. For the elder, the stakes could not be higher. He basically argues that anyone who abandons this core doctrine of Christ is effectively cutting their connection to God. His logic is that the Father and the Son are totally linked. If you have the Son, you have the Father. If you deny the very nature of the Son, you lose them both.
So, with the threat laid out and the stakes clarified, what does the elder tell them to do? Well, his instructions are incredibly direct and, not gonna lie, maybe even a little shocking to us today.
He lays out 3 clear steps. First, a personal warning. Look to yourselves. Be on guard so you don't lose your spiritual reward. Second, and this is the tough one, if one of these teachers shows up, do not receive him into your house. In that culture, where traveling teachers depended completely on hospitality, this was a radical move. It meant cutting off all support. And third, do not greet him. Not even a simple hello on the street. Why so harsh? Well, the elder gives his reasoning right here. To even offer a greeting, which was a sign of fellowship and affirmation, is to participate in what he calls their evil deeds. It's seen as an endorsement of their destructive message. In his mind, protecting the truth of the community requires drawing a very, very hard line.
But then, right after this incredibly severe warning, the tone of the letter shifts completely. It becomes warm, personal. The elder says he has more to say, but he doesn't want to rely on this impersonal paper and ink. His real hope is to come and speak face to face, so that their shared joy can be full. It's this beautiful reminder that behind all the harsh instructions is a deep, deep desire for genuine connection.
And ultimately, that's what this tiny letter captures so perfectly. It's a snapshot of a community wrestling with the tension between its two core values, a deep commitment to love and an equally deep commitment to truth. And it concludes that protecting both sometimes requires drawing boundaries that are really difficult and absolute.
And that leaves us with this final timeless question, doesn't it? This ancient letter drew a very clear line in the sand, but it forces us to ask ourselves, in our own communities, in our families, in our societies, where is that line for us? And how do we navigate that really difficult space between open-hearted love and the conviction to protect what we hold as true?